Hi, welcome to Java Programming. This is Christian He, and in this video I'm going to go over the for loop. Not just about the for loop, I'm going to go over the individual steps of how the for loop is executed in Java. So here on this site called c4learn.com, it's a very beautiful site that shows you a lot of things about C language. And here it has two nice diagrams for the for loop. So let's take a look at this here. If I scroll down here a little bit, you see the syntax for the for loop here. So you have the first part is the initialization of the expression. Step 1. The second part here is you test the expression. Then you have the body of the loop, and then of course you don't forget to update your expression. So that's the typical syntax for any C derivative language such as Java, PHP, JavaScript, and so on. Alright, down here is the flowchart for the loop. It's a very typical flowchart. You start your for loop here. You again set the initialization of your expression. For example, I is equal to 0. Then you test the condition, whether I is less than or greater than a certain number, something like that. And if it's true, then you will execute the body of the loop first. And then you update the expression and so on. So if you follow the arrows here, the blue arrows, you see that it goes back up to the beginning of this diamond shape, and it will retest this condition again once the expression has been updated. Again, if it's true, it will follow the same process, and this is what the loop of the code is. Until it's false, then it will exit out the loop this way. And so the last thing that it will run is this part here, this diamond shape, which is the condition. Here's another site over here at the codeblocks.org. Has a beautiful site as well. Has a nice diagram to show you the three different parts of this for loop. Okay, so you have the starting in a value here, the limit, or the expression, condition expression, and you have the iteration here. What's not shown here is the actual body of the loop. Okay, so I just want to show you three different parts. If you go back to this page again, if you scroll down, you will see that there is a dry run of the for loop. These numbers actually represent the order of execution. So when you start your loop, the first thing, or the first step, is to initialize your expression. In this case, you set I to 0, right? Then the second thing is move to part 2. You check for the condition, whether I is less than 5 in this case. If it's true, then it will go into the body of the loop. Okay, it does not go to the third part here. It goes down here to the body of the loop, which is part 3. It does what it needs to be done here at the body of the loop. In this case, it will just print the hello message, and then once that's completed, it goes to step 4. At part 3 here, it updates the expression I. Then if you follow number 5, goes back to part 2. Okay, so really your loop is within part 2, 3, and 4 here. So this forms that loop here. What's not shown here is another arrow out of this block here. When this condition is false, you should actually see another black arrow going out of that loop, of the for loop, and you'll be done. Okay, so I just want to show you how this actually works. You probably Google it and it will tell you the same thing. If you look at it, you see that if you trace the code, you see something like this. Okay, sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through the iteration, and you see the result, which is great. But I want to show you how exactly what the order actually, how the order actually takes place. So let's go in here into Eclipse. I'm using Eclipse here. I'm going to create a class. We'll just call it for loop class with the main method. All right. So we're just going to print a loop from 1 to 5. Okay, so for loop, and I'm going to use a global variable, static int, call it max is equal to 5. And here we'll put for int I, starting from 1 to 5, inclusive. Okay, so I is less than or equal to 5. and then we'll increment the I. And then the body of the loop, we're just going to print it out. Okay, so print I. Okay, very typical loop here. So let's go ahead and save this and click Run. And here's our typical output. Prints 1 through 5 because we're starting with 1. And then, so step 1, initialization, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then goes back to step 2. Okay, so this part only runs once. Okay, the first part only runs once, and just at one time. It won't go back and then reset that again. All right, so which is great. So now let's prove that this is the actual order. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 3 separate functions in here. Okay. The first is for this value 1. Instead of the number 1, I'm going to say init. Call a function called init, initialization. And then we're going to also create another function here. Instead of 5, we're just going to say the limit. And it's going to return 5. Return the max here. And then finally here, I++. Instead of say I++, I'm going to set I equals to update. Okay, we'll update the expression. Update, we'll pass the I to it. So if I was 1, then it's going to pass 1 to it. Updates it to 2, returns 2 back to I. Okay, so here. It's going to have the first function, init, returns an int. Takes no parameter. And we're going to put a message here. So we know that this is the step that's being called. So I'll put step 1, I'll just say init. So we know that that's where the initialization takes place. And it should only occur once. I'll put here occurs only once. And then we'll return the initialization would be 1. Okay, we'll start with 1. And then the limit static init of int type limit, again no parameters. We're going to print a message here. This is the step 2. We'll call it a check expression. Okay, and then once that's been done, we're going to return the limit, which is max, which is 5, right? So and then again, I is less than or equal to 5. And then down here, finally, we do a third function here to return to update the value of I, of integer I. And I'm gonna just put another message. Step 3. No, let's do step 4. Right, 3's in the body. Step 4. Let's say update. Okay, and then we'll return plus I. Okay, and in here, before I print I out, I'm going to say step 3. This is step 3. And we'll just say result is, so we know that it's I. Well, I shouldn't say result. I'm just going to say I. I equals 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So I mistype update. Okay, so I print that out. And then let's see if we can run this. So initially it's going to run the init function. Okay, we'll print this out. Step 1 returns 1. So we set the I back to 1. Then go to step 2. It's called the limit function. Limit is going to print out step 2, check the expression, and then we're going to say max return, which is 5, and then I will be less than or equal to 5. Step 3 is going to go to the body of the loop, print statement out. Step 3, print I is equal to 0 or 1 initially. And then it will go to step 4, the update. It's going to go down here and print out step 4's update. And then we return the updated value I, which is now going to be 2. and then the I is 2, and then it goes back to step 2, and then it will repeat this loop here. Okay. So once we printed step 4, once it's update, why don't we also put a another statement, or just put the dashes so we know that's the end of that step 4. It will repeat the loop again. Okay. Once we're done, then we're going to leave the loop. So out here, and notice you saw I type SOUT. Okay, SOUT is a shortcut in Eclipse for system out. So SOUT, you press the Control Spacebar, and it prints, it gets that for you automatically. So here I put that dash there, and we'll put here system out. We'll just say done. Okay, so we know that's the end of that loop. Okay, let's save this and let's run it. So here we go. You see that it prints the first step, initializes it, occurs only once. You don't see step 1 again. Go to step 2, you check the expression here. Step 3, you run the body of the loop here. And then step 4, update. And then after that, it goes back to step 2, right? You check the expression when I is now 2, update, 3, update, and then 4, finally 5. And the last thing we do is we check for the expression again. If that is false, then we exit out of the loop and we're done. Okay? I know it does really fast, so you can't see it, but we can also show that once we reach the end of the update, we can pause it if you want. Before we return the actual value, we can pause it here. We'll just do a thread sleep here, for example. I can do like thread sleep for, let's just say we'll sleep for 3 seconds. That's 3 milliseconds, 3 seconds. So I'm going to wrap this with a try catch, I'm sure. Okay. And once we pause for 3 seconds, then it will update and then keep going. So put a message here, pause for 3 seconds. Okay, so let's save and run this again. So here we go. The first iteration, second, right? 2, 3, 4. Third, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. And the fifth iteration, 2, 3, 4. And then we end the loop because now the condition is no longer true. We're done. Alright, so I hope this is helpful. So you can actually prove that this is the actual order of a for loop. Thank you.